My name is Derek. I'm 26 years old, and I've been single for about 3 years now. That may sound like no big deal to you, but for me, it is a big deal. Why? Because the dating scene today is so damn ridiculous for simple guys like me. Be yourself, they say. But what exactly is being yourself when society tells you to act like this, talk like this, and dress like that? Where is that freedom for me to be myself and still have a girl give me a chance? Tell me the dating scene is not difficult.
My day-to-day life, I wake up, I live by myself. I live by myself. I only see myself, of course. Go to work, I work by myself. I come home by myself. So the only time I really see a girl if I go out in public or something like that. But I'm an introvert. I don't like to go out to public. But if I do, let's say I want to go to the mall. I only want to go to the mall because I just need to buy a couple shirts and I'm leaving. I don't have this thought where I'm like I'm just gonna go to the mall and find a chick. And people tell me all the time, hold on. Let me rewind for a minute. I won't say his name. I won't say his name, but there was a guy who gave me advice, and his advice was just useless to me. But as a great guy that I am, I ended up still listening to him. And his whole advice was like, where no matter where you go, you should have this thought where like I'm gonna go get a girl, I'm gonna go do this and do this, and it's like, well, like I'm not disrespecting what he's saying, but he has to understand I'm nothing like him. I'm nothing like him. See, growing up, I was never. It's in Spanish terms. It's a papi chulo. I think it's what papi chulo is what it's called. And I'm not no papi chulo. I have no game. Also, like if you tell me, like if you set me up with a blind date with a girl, like, and I talk with the girl, I'd be good with it. Why? Because I got humor. I feel like humor is like my number one key to getting with the woman on a date. If I make her laugh, boom, I got her. But if you were to tell me, the banana chick over there, if you told me, go up, yeah, if you told me like, hey, go after her, I would have said I I I don't know how to do that. I don't know what to say. And then of course you tell me, no, you gotta say this and this and this and this. I'm like, well, like in my mind, thinking to myself, well, if that works for you, it might not necessarily work for me. And plus, as a guy, I mean, I feel like you agree with me, Willie. Like, you ever try to ask a girl out, and you have to go through so, I mean, yeah, you have to go through so many hurdles just to get with a girl. You ever dealt with something like that before?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I'm dealing with one right now.
well, for you, it might be easy. For me, it was always difficult because it's like I feel like you need a specific skill to get the girl to like you or even love you or even try to. For me,
For
really,
yourself.
yeah, but yeah, I could be myself, but then also, but because here's the thing about me, Willie. There's another side of me. Yeah, I got a crazy side.
Okay.
I got a crazy side. Now, when I mean by crazy, I'm not talking about like I can walk around here butt ass naked. Like, no, I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm not talking about stuff like that. Like, let's say like I'll be walking, I would look at let's say like for no reason, I look to my right, I just start barking like a dog. Why? Because it's stupid. Like I entertain myself by doing. No, you do not do you do not do anything like that. You do not bark. You do not bark like a dog.
I meow like a cat.
You do not bark like a dog.
Yeah,
So I would bark like a dog for no reason to entertain myself. See, I'm a goofball. Yeah, that's yeah. I'm a goofball, but also I'm very serious, very serious. And with my first girlfriend, she liked me, but then she came obsessed with me, and that to me was like, what? How do I handle that? Because she was my first girlfriend I've ever had in my entire life. Shh, shh.
you see everything I do all day. Got to that point.
Yeah, but she was obsessed with me, and I didn't know how to. It's my day to day life. I just wake up, brush my teeth, I read comics, I watch a movie, like I walk, I play games. All right, gotta go to work. I get dressed, go to work, do my thing, come back home, do the same exact freaking thing, and I love it.
Consider this my bachelor pad. I absolutely love it. Absolutely, you can get a tour. Okay, so my favorite part, of course, right here in the living room. So if you go right over here, now since I go to Comic Con and all that stuff, I tend to meet celebrities, and this is just crap load of them right over here. See, like I'm not gonna introduce them all, but like right here, Nicki Teenage Warhead. She was in a Deadpool movie. You know, he played Shazam. This one's actually my favorite because he actually played Daredevil in the TV show, and that's me, of course, dressed up as him. You know, Darth Vader, Aquaman, John Cena, The Punisher, etc., the whole 9 yards. And then this right here is a poster that I've actually gotten at the premiere of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. You know, it was the premiere day. Got it for free. Couldn't refuse that. When I meet the people, you know, when I get a photo op is what it's called. You know, I have to wait in line, stuff like that. Here, I also have to wait in line also. And but these are special to me because I can have like a moment with them. So when you take a photo, you just got to go and take a photo. Then you're pretty much out of there. With this, you know, I can have like 1 or 2 minutes with the dude. And some of these people gave me moments. Some of them had not. You know, but I would say my favorite, the one guy who actually gave me the moment was actually Zachary Levi here as Shazam, right over there, because I dressed up as him, and then he asked me, "Yo, like nice costume, man." I'm like, "Oh, I appreciate that." And then he asked me like, "Oh no," I told him like, "Yeah, well, I couldn't fit it. I couldn't fit in the costume at first because I was kind of fat." And he asked me, like, did you lose weight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I worked out, stuff like that." He gave me like a high five, you know, like, "That's good, man." And he started asking me questions, how I lost weight, you know, like, because it's something small like that, I just remember the rest of my life. So this one here is also special because he's the voice of Batman, Kevin Conroy, who passed away unfortunately this like past year. Yeah, and since I'm a huge fan of Batman, that was probably like the only time I ever met him in person. He was a pretty sweet guy. So it's the Batman one and the Shazam one. It's the one that's special to me. This is where I keep all my stuff right here because, you know, I tend to lose stuff and I like to be, how would you say, like organized, you know, and that pretty much works out for me. Go over here. Once again, you see a lot of more superhero stuff. All here is just figurines I've collected throughout the past. Right over here, you got like the DC side and Marvel side right over there. So another figurine right over there, another figurine. This whole area is just full of stuff, full of figurines and superhero stuff and comics right over here. Then you got a wrestling belt right over there. Actually, it's actually autographed by people too. So this kind of like my favorite corner of the living room right over here. And then if you go right over here, this is a Mortal Kombat arcade machine, which I got in Walmart, you know, and it's something you would see back in the 90s, you know, replica and everything. Right over here, actually, like that right there. And right over here, now you got my boy, Chadwick Boseman, the guy who kind of like opened the trail for me when I come for like superheroes. See right there, the tattoo, right over there as usual, Wakanda. And then right over here, you got another Spider-Man portrait. And this right here is nothing superhero related. It's just a panda holding 2 guns. Why I got that, I have no idea. I just got that because I figure it's just ridiculous. I'm all about that stuff. So, right, the panda holding 2 guns. What a badass he is. And there you got Captain America, another Spider-Man one, you know. This right over here, this is probably my most prestige stuff I got over here. Punisher, Black Cat, Hobgoblin. And some of them are not like just first comic book appearances. You have like just like first issues of stuff. Like the first issue was Spider-Man right over there. And you got the Avengers, Avengers with Ultron, right there, just the Avengers, the whole 9 yards over here. And I collected this for years. And then we come to the kitchen. And when you walk in here, the first thing you tend to see is just my Prime collection. And I mean, there's nothing else to explain. I just really like Prime. You know, I tend to collect more, but nowadays you can't find them nowadays. See, my favorite is the ice pop. See, the ice pop is, that's the most delicious one. Or for my job, because the weekends, I don't work Saturday and Sunday, so
So because of that, I could do what I want on the weekend, cook, read comics, whatever. And then Monday through Friday, I work. And because of those days, I cook. So, yeah. Well, I'm cooking some meat for my quesadilla right now. I'm just gotta move this a little bit right now so I can get it popping. Yeah, that's what I usually make. Yeah. And right now, you know what? I'm gonna add more of this so I can get that scent. Because I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of spices. I like to spice my food. And I'm Puerto Rican. I like to spice everything. Oh man, it's like I'm cooking at Chili's. I like it. Okay. Come right over here. Turn the stove. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's popping. Do I cook myself all the time? Yeah, pretty much. I live by myself. I mean, there's no one for me to ask. I mean, even if someone was here, I still would have been like, no, I got it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now this is new. Again, it's at Chipotle. I figured I'd try it. But this one's special. I never tried this. So, just smelling it, oh yeah, that works all right. All right, so so I gotta time this right. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, then blam. This is clearly done. Blam. Okay. See, right there. Works with me. If I was in a relationship, would I hope she would cook? Yes. To be honest, yeah. Because there are many times where I would get home after work and I'm exhausted and I really don't feel like cooking. So it would be nice, if I come home and I ask her nicely, do you mind making me something small? And then when I get home, it's right then and there. It's like, hello. Other people's jobs, it's always a hassle. You have to go through this and that. With my job, it's not necessarily like that. I only got one objective. It's pretty much cleaning. I clean classrooms by myself, and I dig it. Is it difficult? Since I work by myself, is it difficult to meet someone? Yep, absolutely. Because I only deal with old people, so I don't necessarily see a woman around my age. So, yeah. Okay. And then, all right. Oh yeah.
My name is Maribel. I'm 44 years old. I am Derek's mother, and I am married to Gilbert.
My name is Gilbert. I'm 40 years old, and I'm married to Maribel.
I have been married to Gilbert for 21 years. And the best way that I could describe our marriage is one crazy love story. But you have to add the word crazy in there because it's like a crazy, crazy love story. You have to hear it to be able to understand why.
What is my relationship to Derek? I'm his stepdad and also his second cousin.
These two right here, they're my parents. You have my cougar mom, who married a younger guy, but not just any guy. She married my second cousin, who is my biological father's first cousin. So now, my second cousin from my father's side is my stepdad. Talk about complicated. I know. It's confusing. Imagine how I felt at age 12 when I found out that my stepdad wasn't really my dad. And not only he was my stepfather, but he was also my second cousin. Talk about difficulties in the dating scene. Here, let them tell you their story, and let's see what you think about it.
So, how I met my husband. Okay. All right. Well, I was about 17 years old. I was pregnant from my son, and I was from Derek, and pretty much homeless at the time, because Derek's father took me with him, and we lived in so many places. We lived with his mother, with his grandmother, with other family. We were just everywhere. And the last stop basically was his grandmother's house. And when we got there, at that time I was just already overwhelmed and just pregnant and tired of just being out in the streets unwanted. It was just a deep, dark place for me at the time. And when we got to her house, we actually went to her house for a meal because we were roaming around trying to find a place to stay. And at the time, Derek's father said, well, my grandmother has food. Let's go over there, because we had no money either. So we couldn't buy anything. So we showed up at her house, and lo and behold, there was big pots on the stove, and because she would cook for everyone. She always cooked a lot of food because she had a lot of grandchildren coming in and out and sons and daughters coming in and out. So she always cooked large amounts of food. So when we showed up, she was surprised to see her grandson and so on and so forth. And I'm just the quiet girlfriend walking in behind him. And so she immediately offers us something to eat, some food, and we sit down and we eat. And she starts to ask where we're staying. And of course, he mentioned, oh, we're staying in such and such's house, but they really don't want us there, and so on and so forth. And to my surprise, a woman who did not even know me immediately just started to say, oh, no, you guys are going to stay here, and, so on and so forth. And next thing you know, she was pulling out a little mat to put on the floor so that we could sleep on. And I was just so blown away. Because I get for her grandson, she's offering him a place to stay. But for me, she didn't even know me. And here she was giving me a place to stay, a place to sleep, And we didn't tell her that I was pregnant. We were actually afraid to share that kind of information because we thought that she would throw us out if we did. So, but being the woman that she was, and to me still is, she figured it out. And she knew eventually, and she asked me one day if I was pregnant, and I told her that I was. And she just started to care for me. I would be in the room a lot of the time just hiding away because I didn't want to bother anyone, and a lot of the time she would call me out of the room so that I could eat. And she started to just look out for me, so to speak. Now, the room we were staying in, we slept on a mat on the floor because we were sharing it with one of his uncles. But eventually, the uncle moved out, and we ended up staying with that bedroom. And it did not go well. It did not go well. And the reason why, I guess, it's because I, wow. I ended up getting to a place where I fell into a really deep depression. I mean, on top of that, I'm pregnant, I'm young, I'm homeless, I don't have a penny to my name, I'm not even 18 yet. Um, it, it was just really sad. And my son's father and I began to have lots and lots and lots of arguments, almost daily. He found a job and he would go to work, and I would spend the entire day in that room by myself. And when he would come back home, we would end up in arguments again, because they were mainly in regard to money and moving out to be on our own. And unfortunately, every time he got paid, he would spend his money on clothing, on shoes, and he would come home with all these bags of stuff. And I'm like, we're supposed to be saving money so we could move out, so we could get our own place. We have a baby on the way. But that just, it did not make a difference. So I just ended up sinking into this really state of depression. I rarely left the room. I only came out to eat and shower. And I spent all my time in there, just feeling hopeless, just feeling lost, just, that was it. I had a baby on the way. I had nowhere to go. At the time, my family didn't want to deal with that, because single mom, 17 years old, a baby, nobody wanted to deal with that. So I was pretty much on my own, trying to figure out how I was going to survive. And I was there for several months. I'm going to say maybe 5 months, when Gilbert came along.
When did I meet my now wife, Maribel? Met her when I was about 13 years old. I moved in with my grandmother, and she was there at the house that I was staying at.
And he had just recently moved in. His grandmother adopted him, and he moved into the house. And from one day to another, I mean, he was just such a bold kid. He was 13 years old at the time. I was 17. And he was such a bold kid, like just outgoing and talkative. And he overall made me feel comfortable. And it wasn't long before we would have conversations with each other, because he would knock on my bedroom door and, let me know that it was time to eat, that, grandma finished cooking. And, so
from time to time, I come and knock on her door, tell her to come out of her room because grandma said it's time for her to eat. Or we would just conversate about my cousin.
She would sometimes send him to my bedroom to knock on the door to let me know that dinner was done, so that I could come out and eat. And so I would, come out and sit at the table, and he would make jokes, and he was just a little fool. And I couldn't help but laugh, So I felt comfortable with him. And it got to the point that I was constantly arguing with my baby daddy to be, but Gilbert was the shoulder that I cried on. And it got to the point where, every day that my son's father would leave for work, Gilbert would come into the room, knock on the door, and, come in the room, and he asked me, what happened today? What happened today? And I would tell him, we argued about this and we argued about that. So I cried a lot on his shoulder. It wasn't long before just spending time with each other. I mean, we spent so much, the whole time that I was in that house, he would spend all the time that he could with me, and he would make me laugh. He would make jokes. We would just talk about everything and anything. He would listen to everything I had to say. And it eventually got to the point that he caught a crush on me. So it wasn't like an instant thing. It wasn't like love at first sight. It was interacting with me. It was getting to know me. It was just laughing with me, was spending time with me. And then one day, he just tells me he likes me. And
So it was about the time that I moved in with my grandmother. Like 2 months of moving in with my grandmother, I started catching feelings for Maribel, and I actually told her. And I actually remember that I was a busboy at a restaurant, at a soul food restaurant, and I'll clean tables and sit people down. And I came home to my grandmother's house. Maribel was in the kitchen, I remember, and I told Maribel, I said, I just want to tell you I like you. I got money. She was pregnant at the time. I said, I'll take care of you. Let's run away. Maribel then, now what we would say, diss me and say that, you're just a little boy. I'll go to jail. And I said, don't worry about that. It's just age. It's just a number. She told me, man, you don't even, no, ain't gonna happen.
so lo and behold, the fights got worse between me and Derek's father, and I eventually left on my own and started my own life. Why did I officially do that? Well, the truth came out that he was being unfaithful to me and told me he was going to work when in reality he was going to be with this other woman or girl at the time, because we were just kids. But there was one day that he never came home at the scheduled time that, he would normally come home. So I won't even get into the details at how I found out, but I found out that he was being unfaithful for a month. It was about a month that he was being unfaithful. And I left. That was like the last straw. So I left. There's so many details to how that worked out. I won't share that now, but there are so many details to it. What happened after I left and so on and so forth. There are things that Derek still doesn't even know. And I don't even know how to share that with him. But that's for another time. Fast forward 5 years later.
5 years later, I called my aunt that was down here in Jersey, and I was checking up on her. She flew back home, and when I checked up on her, she says, hey, someone's here. Hold on a moment. And I was like, someone's there? I'm like, who? She didn't tell me who. At that time, Maribel picked up the phone, and she was like, hello? And I was like, hello? And she was like, is this Gilbert? And I was like, is this Maribel? And I was like, oh my gosh. We started just talking from there. From all that, I gave her my phone number. We started talking since then. She called me back. I called her. She called me back that night. And basically, we just started talking since then,
Now, mind you, I'm in Florida. He's in New Jersey. And he calls at that exact moment. And they passed the phone to me. They literally passed the phone to me because they knew that he and I had a friendship.
Since then, we was talking. We talked for a little bit. We just went from there. We started talking, and she came to New York. I went to see her at her sister's house, and we went from there, and she came in with me. And that was it.
And fast forwarding from there, we've been married now 21 years.
It's kind of unfortunate that's the world that we live in today. I was born in 97. Man, if I was born in 77, I felt like I would have been in a relationship if I was born at that time. But now I'm born in 97, 26 years old in 2023. Like, introducing to somebody to me is not there. Really nobody. Nowadays, just do dating apps and all these messages and stuff like that. And yeah, like, a profile don't mean anything to me.
A bio don't mean anything to me. If I meet you in person, it's good enough for me. So, yeah. So with dating apps and social media, if your profile pictures are not to die for, then you won't get a bite. So no one gets to meet you in person. No one gets to know you by your personality, how you sound when you laugh, how your mind works. Can you carry conversation? Can you make me laugh? Can I make you laugh? No. We won't know these things through a profile picture and a mini paragraph bio. So we never get the chance to meet, and as long as that continues, we continue single. Waiting. Waiting for someday our paths to cross somehow, some kind of way. Maybe through a family member or friend who is dying in a hospital, and we all have to say our goodbyes to that dying person. Maybe at a funeral or a baby shower with an unwedded couple. I wouldn't say we can meet someone at a wedding, because there aren't many weddings anymore, because those nowadays don't happen often. The babies come first before anyone wants to commit to each other as a couple. First, let's see if we can handle the pressures of taking care of a baby. And if we can't, then we fight and we split up to start lives with other people and give our child step-parents. Because God forbid we commit to each other first, get married and live married for a few years and get to know each other better before bringing a baby into the world to watch us as a couple trying to figure each other out.
The dating scene for me when I was growing up was pretty easy when I lived in New York. Because in New York City, you have people who are straightforward, unfiltered, they say what they want to say, and if they like you, they tell you straightforward. When I moved to Florida, that changed big time. It was much harder to get into a relationship, to even know if there was a guy who liked you, because he would never tell you. So it was a lot more difficult. And that affected my self-esteem, and I started to think that maybe I was just too ugly, not pretty enough, so on and so forth. So I let go of the idea of having a relationship in Florida. Now, but my husband now is not from Florida. He lives in Florida now, but he's not from Florida. He's actually born and raised in New Jersey. So, and he was one of those straightforward, unfiltered, at the time, boys who had no, how do I say it? No, he just did not care to let me know that he had feelings for me. So, but that is a good detailed story right there. So,
How was the dating scene when I was young? Good question. It was pretty bad. I didn't dress up thuggish. I was kind of like a nerd. Was always with nerdy people, so I didn't dress the baggy pants with clothes that was super baggy. I was always dressed proper. What is proper? Good question. Proper was like wear clothes that actually fit me on my right size. So those was kind of like hard, not dressing to what the style was back then. So because of that, I didn't get a lot of girlfriends. So where I was raised at, yes, it was easy to ask a girl. You can actually go up to a girl, ask her for her number, her name, and you hit it off from there. And I did that a few times, but it didn't last long. It was a 50-50 chance, you know, what girl you went up to. Sometimes they was moody, sometimes they was, you know, straight up, and they'll be like, no. And when I was older to date, actually I wanted somebody to commit with, and I was actually tired of the relationships of just dating, and then they was interested of material or how much money I had, or, you know, I was just tired of it. I wanted somebody to love me for who I am, and now I have the knowledge is to grow together. So yes, I was looking. I said my next relationship, I wanted to be committed, and I wanted somebody to love me for who I am. There was a girl that lived across the street from my grandmother's house that we would conversate, we would go out. She would only look for me when I actually had money, or to buy her clothes, or when we used to go out and drink. And then she went off with somebody else. Did I ever broke a girl's heart? Nah, I was too nerdy. So, no, I didn't break anyone's heart. Do I think everything is about looks? No. For me, I wasn't looking about looks. I was looking for love. I was looking for someone to love me. And in the searching of that, if it's a bonus to have a good look, then that's a bonus. But that wasn't something that I was looking for, appearance. Didn't attract me to appearance. It was just having somebody to love me for who I am.
Do I think that appearances have anything to do with having a true relationship? No. The reason why is that I think that, appearances are a bonus. It's good to be attracted to someone. But if that's the only thing, then you're looking to set yourself up for failure because, oh my gosh, we have seen time and time again where, I'll speak on behalf of the females, where girls want men only because they're hot. And these women chase after these men and do everything in their power to have these men, end up pregnant from them, and then alone raising their children. It's like, was it worth it just because he's cute or he's hot? And I think that if we could look beyond someone's appearance and look at who they are as a person, try to see who they are in their heart. I don't even know how to really explain that, but if we can look at a person's actions, their character, it's not difficult. You can see if a person is a jerk or not. It's just that simple. I don't care how cute your face is. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. And unfortunately, so there's females that don't see that. It's obvious that he's a deadbeat guy, and they still want to chase after him. And then you've got good men who are out there ready and willing to commit to be everything that woman needs, and they don't want to give him a chance because he's not hot enough, because he doesn't fit the status quo of how he needs to dress or how he needs to act or how he needs to talk. Had I done that, I would not have the marriage that I have right now. Had I done that, I would not be where I am today. I love my husband so much. I do. It makes me giggle, but it's so true because when I married my husband, I didn't marry him for love. I thought he was cute. I didn't think he was hot or he was like the most good-looking thing in the world. He was just cute. He was okay. But the fact that he wanted to commit to me, oh my gosh, that is so rare. You have men nowadays and women that just want to play with a person's feelings. I just want to have you for fun, but I don't want to commit. I don't want to get married. I don't want to, be faithful. I don't want these things. I just want to have fun with you. My husband was the complete opposite, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for someone who would say, you know what, I want to marry you, and I want it to be just me and you. I don't need other women. I don't want to deal with any of that. And just the fact that my husband wanted to commit to me and be serious with me was enough for me to say yes. I didn't care how he looked. I didn't care about his status. All I wanted to know was that, are you willing to commit, and are you willing to meet me halfway in this thing called life? Because I am struggling alone with a child.
My wife is a very hard woman. In the beginning, it was not trustly. She didn't trust me. She judged me for my actions. And when I say actions, it was just like, are you just coming here to get me pregnant and leave? And was you basically, what do you want? You know, why you want to be with me? And after time, I've shown that I actually loved her, and it was because of her. It wasn't her appearance. And we was able to make jokes, and there was times that we was able to cry in the first beginning. And then, you know, she had her son, Derek, who I raised, and she was like, you know, you just want to get me pregnant and then leave. And I had to change that mentality set, and I didn't know how to, so I just went with action. I remember the first time I got a job, and I was cleaning the house, and she told me, love doesn't pay the bills of cleaning up. You have to actually get a job. And when I went out that day and got a job, and I came back home and told her, I got a job. And she just started crying. She hugged me. From there, we just went, you know, I moved on. I got another job, and we went ahead and we just built it from there. It was just a lot of trust issue and understanding her past and what the relationship that I came out from. I also had trust issues. And still do to now. You know, it's calmed down a little than how I was in the first beginning of our marriage. I wasn't trustly. I was, you know, on offensive mode and just like, who is this? Who's that? You know, what are you doing? That's it. So I was able to marry one of my younghood crushes. Yes, indeed.
Game on the line in the fourth, running up and down the court. I kill him, I do it for sport. Crunch time, when it's crunch time, I'm always gonna put in the work. You just keep coming up short, but somebody gotta get hurt. Crunch time, when it's crunch time, ooh, it's all about us in the end now. I ain't out here making friends now. Hit them with a turnaround if they wanna see how it pans out. I'm just trying to be a champion, trying to leave behind a legacy. MVPs in the ambience, but they champ for me. I'm always gonna put in the work. I'm just trying to be a champion. I'm always gonna put in the work. MVPs in the ambience. I'm always gonna put in the work. I'm just trying to be a champion. I'm always gonna put in the work. MVP, but they I'm always gonna put in the work. I'm just trying to be a champion.
Staying alive, I'm killing the journey. Feel something brewing inside of me. You don't know the whole story, what I had to do, and everybody doubted me. Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grind Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside. Don't think you're ready for this part. This is our moment, here we are. How could you be a star if you don't shine and you afraid of the dark? Say you wanna be a big fish, but you can't swim with the sharks. Yeah, ain't phased, don't change. Still the same when the camera's off. Look smooth, but I'm going hard. Play it cool, but I'm going off. If you want it, gotta take it from me. I can show you who the best is. All stats, no questions. You just a check off the checklist.